Silencer. Morphling.
Radiant team pick.
Tiny.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team banned.
Ancient apparition.
Dire team ban. Radiant team ban.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Rush Gaming Collegiate Tournament. Once again, coming at you as we got two more teams competing today here for the group stages. Once again, we are going to be seeing the University of Wisconsin-Madison. We got to see them yesterday. It looked pretty good. They got a victory in their first match over the University of Toronto. Their opponents today is Syracuse University. Looking forward to having some fun with this one. As always, it is a best of one. We are in the group stages, and I'm BreakyCPK, going to be your caster for this matchup here in what is, again, the Rush Gaming Collegiate Tournament. So this is, it debuted yesterday, and I got to say I was intrigued, especially the first series. We had a series later on in the day that was a little more one-sided, but I doing a little bit of research on the Dire side, or Syracuse University. It seems like they got some divine ranked players in there, possibly even Immortal. I'm not 100% sure, but point is that this should actually be a pretty good competition here in this one and only game, of course. And the draft is well underway, as you can see. So let's get a closer look as far as what we're dealing with. That was a Silencer first pick. The Morphling Tiny response, Ancient Apparition, came out. And then we have the Ogre Magi into the Axe now. So very interesting as far as the draft has developed so far. Seeing the Morphling that early on, usually not a hero you would see this early on in the draft. But they perhaps like their Morphling, so sticking to their guns. Ancient Apparition and Axe are both heroes that are most certainly good against said Morphling. Ancient Apparition specifically with the Ice Blast, if it connects, it's going to be very difficult for Morphling to regenerate, even shifting over to that strength. And then Axe with the call, excellent lockdown against a hero like Morphling. Even if he perhaps gets a BKB, you'll still have to worry about getting locked down by him. So I like the draft so far by the University of Wisconsin-Madison and their response coming out. But it's a strong draft also on the side of Syracuse University. In fact, Shadow Shaman, fourth pick, is one that we are seeing a fair amount being drafted in the competitive scene recently. I will say Shadow Shaman against the Axe in the laning phase. If Axe chooses to do some creep pulling, Shadow Shaman could potentially deal with him with locking him down with the shackles. He will need assistance to get the kill on him, so the Morphling may need help with that, or Tiny, or whatever the heroes end up being. But Axe also should be able to get some decent pulls off if that's what he chooses to do so. Shadow Shaman not up there necessarily as far as support heroes that are good at dealing with him, in my opinion at least. I think Bane, Shadow Demon, Dazzle even, Undying, those are ones that come to mind that can most certainly deal with the Axe a lot better than others. But we'll see how they deal with him, if he even chooses to do that or not. Back to the fourth pick now for Madison, and losing a bit of that reserve time, so they're going to have to choose quickly. Ooh, they go with the Chaos Knight. Interesting. As far as Chaos Knight is concerned, trying to think the reason for it. Tiny, very low armor, at least early on. I don't necessarily know if they're going to be matched up against the Tiny in the laning phase, though, so I don't know if that's necessarily the reason that they would pick up said hero. Morphling, as far as morphing into Chaos Knight, I suppose that could be interesting for him, using both that Reality Rift and the Chaos Bolt. So, yeah, I'm not really too sure on the CK pick, other than a lot of the usual cores are banned out. They banned Terrorblade and Phantom Lancer themselves. Arc Warden banned on the other side. You have the Morphling pick already. So, we are starting to get to the next tier of cores, to be fair. Not that CK is a bad one. He's just not the most usual as of recent. But one that you can make work, certainly, especially with good Phantasm procs, that extra illusion, or just in general RNG with the hero. Of course, with his passive, I'm blanking on the name right now. I want to say Chaotic Strike, if I'm not mistaken, but is it that? It might be. We'll check in game to be sure. They're going to go Admiral Kunkka with the final pick. As far as their mid option goes, would be my guess. The safe lane Chaos Knight and the off lane Axe. So the Dire Squad, Syracuse University. I think Tiny matches up just fine against Kunkka. They can have Morphling in the safe lane, so I would guess perhaps their offlane hero, unless they want a better matchup for the Kunkka. A saving hero even wouldn't be a bad option here. They don't really got that with the Ogre and the Shadow Shaman, so if Kunkka X's somebody, it's going to be difficult. Also, these cores currently not really a Yule's core. That's something to keep in mind. Maybe something like an Storm Spirit? No, into a Sansa, you don't really want that, and the Axe for that matter. Lena, Queen of Pain are ones that stand out. Yeah, you see Madison actually banning the Brewmaster. So, I do think, though, I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of that Yule's Carrier last pick here in the mid-roll to match up against Kunkka. Instead, coming out from them. So, the reserve time, we only have so much longer, 20 seconds, really, before they do need to figure out which direction they are going to go in.
Drow Ranger.
Whoa.
Choose your hero.
Can't say I saw the Drow strat coming out. But they are going to go Drow Ranger. Yeah. I don't know about the Drow strat. Drow's not the best against Axe. Hero that can blink in and call and cause chaos for a Drow and get her killed quickly. Kunkka's also pretty good against Drow Ranger. I'm really wondering how they're going to lane this, too, because ideally you usually want to safe lane a Drow. You want to have her have a good start with the laning phase, but even a safe lane Drow, again, if the Axe pulls, it's going to be really annoying for her to get last hits underneath the tower and everything. So Morphling, on the other hand, can usually handle that better than most other cores in the game. So are they planning on off-laning a Drow? Something like a Drow Ogre? They'd be running into a Chaos Knight Ancient Apparition, perhaps, or Chaos Knight Silencer, depending on how they land it, of course. I'm curious to see where they go with this Drow. That's the biggest thing for me. I'm not familiar enough with the players to know who is exactly going to play where, of course. And then there's a big point, too, is the Drow synergy of this game. Morphling most certainly benefits from it. Not necessarily a usual core. It's not the Wind Ranger, Mirana, others that definitely come to mind, Visage. But most certainly does. Rasta support is also going to, like it quite a bit. He's already a support hero that has high base damage, so obviously he's feeling pretty good about the Drow aura himself. And when it comes to harassing in the laning phase, that is going to be very effective, no doubt. But it's definitely not the big-time Drow strategy coming out here from the Dire team. Obviously, Tiny doesn't necessarily take advantage of it. You see the double masters degree. That's talking about that for Rasta, apparently, as she's waiting to disconnect. Or reconnect, excuse me. And all right. Waiting for this one to get going. Again, best of one, but should be a fun one. Can I get more information on them in here? Yeah, unfortunately, I'm able to see their ranks really. You have a couple of Tier 8 Battle Cup champions, though, and that definitely means something in itself. Tier 8, of course, the highest tier as far as Battle Cups go, so it's not. I would assume they're at least Divine players, possibly Immortals thrown in the mix too, as I was saying earlier. So at least hoping for a good series. But as far as favoring which draft or the other, well, let's see what Dota Buff says, actually. It is favoring the Radiant. I was going to say the Radiant, to be honest, because, again, it's a points I'm making about the Drow. I'm just not 100% sold on the Drow strategy this game and also where she's going to lane. It feels like no matter where she lanes, it's going to be kind of a tough lane in itself. So, and that on top of they don't really have the best for dealing with an Axe if he is aggressive and pulling the lane, as we see a lot of these axes do recently. Perhaps going to be supported by the silencer, and you throw the battle hunger on top of an arcane's curse. I mean, the dot is going to be real as far as having to take that for the dire side. So that's going to be another annoying tool to go up against in that laning phase. But it is a drow with an ogre magi as well. Of course, bloodlust buff to help benefit on attack damage and speed. So best of one. Best of one. It's time to run that. She's known as, of course. I don't necessarily think she's really a cheese strategy hero, but it's a lot of people will consider that. It's both a high risk, but it could be a high reward in those best of ones. Kind of throw the other team off with the drow strat. But yeah, that's the other thing too. Chaos Knight is going to be able to ideally get in there with that Reality Rift. The range on Reality Rift is actually a lot longer than you'd expect. I have to remind myself that, and when he levels it up, we'll see for sure. But the range on it, yeah, 550 out of 1 up to 700. That's pretty good range. He's able to close that gap quickly with using the ability. So, of course, the Bounty Rune control coming out. Here, 1 second.
The battle begins.
All right, Bounty Runes. It's going to be picked up by Drow up here. Axe was trying to run up to take it, but unable to grab it, so well played by the Axe. Meanwhile, bottom lane, there's a kill on Ogre Magi. The first blood coming out. They go in there. A snowball on Tiny. He was able to get the Bounty Rune, but they were competing, and they take out Ogre as a result. So first blood already strikes in favor of University of Wisconsin-Madison. So Axe isn't necessarily going for the aggressive pull early on.
Not this time.
Said he's going to sit in the lane for now. But even this, and he did go counter Helix first too, which is interesting, honestly. I mean, not necessarily, I guess. In the lane, if he was doing the pull, the counter Helix, of course, you'd want, especially. The fact that he's in the lane, that's where I find it a little interesting. The Battle Hunger, strong tool for just throwing up, especially on the support. Now, Ross is speaking of that support again with the Aura even. He is hitting hard, and Silencer cannot trade auto attacks in them right now, even with that W. The Glaives of Wisdom. So choosing not to get the Arcane's Curse early on. Jesus. He gets really low right there. Having to eat those tangos. No salve, though, for him. So it's going to be some slow regen coming out for the Silencer. But there's that Battle Hunger as Axe hits level 2. And Snow is in trouble. If he gets a counter Helix proc, let's go. Oh, I think he's out of range, actually. Very far use if he gets one here. No, he's not going to dive, but the counter Helix not hitting. Rasta will manage to survive, actually. Very close call. Reality Rift going in with the Chaos Bolt. Cold Feet proc and the auto attack from Ancient Apparition to finish the job. You do see Chaos Knight got very low right there. One auto attack away from death himself, but he manages to stay alive, pop some regen. Will be fine for the time being. No salve once again, though. As top lane. No, that was middle lane, actually. Oh, Morphling getting the kill on a Kunkka. The waveform's in. Interesting. This Morphling, he's 5-8 to start as far as CS goes against a 3-5 Kunkka. And he gets the kill, so Morphling having a great time. Always have to remind, again, a Drow Aura kicking in. And then Kunkka comes back in and kills Morphling anyways. So, all right. Trying my best to pay attention, apparently. I wouldn't expect kills to be happening in the middle lane like that, but they have. I'm watching more of this top lane as, sure enough, Drow is dead. Axe, the Battle Hunger, level 2 now, so she cannot get it off in time. And like I said, they just dive the tower, so that pressure coming into play. Kunkka, double damage rune. He's going to go for Morphling right here. Morphling playing a safe. Waveform's in. He's committed for the kill. Somebody's down right here. Will be first. It will be the Kunkka going down first. So Morphling taking him out. Yeah, that was a bold attempt, really, from Kunkka. He was very committed, thinking that double damage was going to be enough. It really wasn't. And Morphling more than fine. Using those bottle charges in between as well. Why am I casting on YouTube? Simply put, this is the Rush Gaming Tournament. It's their tournament, and they asked to have it casted on YouTube. So it's actually the Rush Gaming app that you can download, I believe, on the Google Play Store. You can actually watch YouTube streams on it, and they have their own helpful ways to watch said streams, I guess you could call it. So you can check it out if you'd like there, but that would be the main reason. Chaos Knight is fine. In fact, turning on Ogre now. Ogre, ambitious move to run in like that. Cold Feet will not proc. Can he get the Reality Rift off? He's trying. The line of sight playing an issue. Now they are going to see him, though. Finally gets the vision. Another Cold Feet going out. He just goes the other direction. And Ancient Apparition actually blocking Chaos Knight. So Ogre, with that wind lace, he just keeps running. That was a bit awkward right there. And now Avalanche from Tiny. He comes in, another Cold Feet. This time, no, again, it's not enough. The wind lace really coming through. Ancient Apparition will get the auto attack off, though, and actually take him out in the end. Jeez, that chase lasted forever. Middle lane, Kunkka's fine. Top lane, somebody's dying. Running in, did use the call, which he leveled up at 4, and he gets the kill on Drow. Rasta does have a mango for the Ether Shock. Will he use it here? I don't think it would be enough damage. 200 before the mitigation, so yeah, it's definitely wouldn't be enough in this case. Got the 5-minute bounty runes now coming up. You do look at CS right now. Wow, I gotta say, Syracuse University is wrecking when it comes to CS. 23 and 18 Morphling is the biggest thing that's standing out, of course. He tries to morph into Kunkka and use it against him, but obviously ended up missing the combination when you're trying to click so many buttons to play two different heroes at once, essentially. It's a little harder to do, to be fair, but good attempt from the Morphling. Ogre's wrapping around, however, and he uses a Torrent once again, and now this time Kunkka, he is going to go down. Morphling has a last laugh in the end, despite the failure initially. So good rotation from Ogre. Top lane Ogre, he's dead. Battle Hunger and an Arcane Curse. This is what I was talking about. That's going to be so annoying to deal with. So this is an interesting game, though, because it's 7-3 hero kills in favor of the rating, but look at the CS across the board. Chaos Knight, Axe, and Kunkka all are doing horrible when it comes to CS. And I really think Axe missed out on an opportunity here to pull Creep Wave. Rasta Drow is not necessarily going to be able to stop you. I mean, I guess the Frost Arrow, the Shackles would be really annoying, but you would also be annoying them in the meantime, and you do have that Silencer backup support, so it seems like that might have been the more efficient play for CS farm at least, but chose to lane, and Drow, she's managing to get some very good CS. Yeah, Morphling getting low, but it's Morphling, so you never really can look at that too much. Again, top lane, curses up. Drow might be dying here. It looks like they're really committed for this Drow kill. Silencer's actually going to end up falling because the Berserker's Call's out of range. And Drow's alive for now. However, no Gust means she is not actually getting away. So eventually Axe runs in and gets the kill. He has a TP in his backpack. He is not going to throw it in just yet. And, well, there you go. Doesn't need it, though. He is obviously going to Vanguard first, as Kunkka again goes down, though, in the middle lane. Another rotation for Ogre Magi to make that kill happen. Rasta's on a journey back to base. Yeah, it's not surprising to see Tiny doing well in CS because it is Tiny with the big tree and everything, but honestly, it is surprising to see CK struggling. Ogre, it seems like he's even been rotating a bit. You have the Ancient Apparition babysitting him. I don't know if it's because they were playing too aggressive early on and so the CS is lacking, or
Top is missing,
or what, but if he just simply is unfortunately missing those last hits. Either way.
Dire are scanning.
Here comes more rotation. Morphling even heading over. They're going for Silencer. He actually morphs into Silencer. Going to use the last word and the curse against him. And then run him down for the kill. So, not the usual hero you're going to see Morphling morph into, but it's a case of, you know what, you're the closest nearby. Let's go ahead and go for it. Oh, the regen rune. There's a race for it. Trying to set it up for Kunkka with that bottle. Here comes Morphling. He curses. It connects on Ancient Apparition. One more attack. You see that Drow aura level 3, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Top is missing.
So much right click from this Morphling, especially with that full shift agility. Hitting essentially for 150 damage each auto attack. Drow does go down again, though. When she's dead, of course, no aura taking effect. They're going to run down Ogre Magi. Has Culling Blade. I'm guessing he used it before as well. And there's another slam dunk. So double kill in the end. And this is, of course, is where you start to see Axe being a little more threatening. And especially once he gets that Vanguard, the idea of diving. So that was the initial worry with the draft when I was talking about why I favored the Radiant team, was if Axe can get a pretty good start. Gets the Vanguard into the blink. Just able to jump Drow and drop her before she can do anything.
Dire's top tower
But this
is under
Morphling, no
attack.
doubt, may prove to be an issue. Really curious how he builds. He's at least going the Morbid Max for a sustain, but does he go the Manta style, perhaps?
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
This game, I don't know if he's going to go the full-on shotgun. It seems like a game where more of that battle build does make sense.
Dire's structures are fortified.
He needs something to remove silence is the big thing. So I do think a Manta style is probably the play. Tiny, as they're going for the 10-minute bounty rune. Cold Feet, Rally Rift pullback, and it is going to proc. Is it enough damage, though? It doesn't look like it. Oh, he wasn't able to cast Chilling Touch there. He didn't have enough mana to cast Chilling Touch. That's an easy kill if he does. Silencer, meanwhile, gets run down at the top lane as the Morphling rotates. Yeah, Faceless Void Courier. Thing's awesome. It's a bubble. It's so cute.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Ooh, Axe actually did go the blink first. Okay. I don't know if I agree with that, actually. Kind of like the idea of the Vanguard first. We do see that a lot. And it almost feels like a desperate move. Look at this Morphling, by the way. He is comfortable with this hero. That's just diving in onto the silencer. He's not going to kill him, but they get the tower kill and applies plenty of pressure. He is going the shotgun build. Okay. And Manta style, I think, to remove silence is a high priority, but with this start, he wants to take full advantage and really be able to just drop people left and right. Oh, Reality Rift coming out. And now Morphling. It's possible turn potential. Where's the ghost ship? It's flying in. The rum is going to be drinking the last second. Ice Blast comes in as well. And Morphling and Ogre Magi will fall, diving too far from the Dire team. University of Syracuse. Tiny's in retreat. Tosses him away. Cold Feet's up. I don't think it's going to proc. Oh, yes, it will. Torrent hits. And they're just going to run him down. It ends up being a 3-0 in favor of the University of Madison, Wisconsin. That Phantasm was pretty sick from Chaos Knight there. MW.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Gonna see the early Mask of Madness on Drow. Tiny. Dracula first, then the Blink Dagger. What he has in mind. Frost Awards, ready to go. Push middle lane.
Middle tower is under attack.
Morphling.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Wants to help take it out. Ice Blast coming through. They do dodge it, though, so. Here, who do they get? Oh, we got Ogre. You can always hear the X. There's the Chilling Touch. And Ogre gets on the Cold Feet, but the Tidebringer hit does him in. The delay is set to 5 minutes, which is literally the delay every tournament ever uses. So, complaining about the delay, not really, doesn't really make sense. In fact, a lot of tournaments use only 2 minutes, to be fair, but they recommended using 5 minutes for this one. So, but thank you for the input. You'll hear this 5 minutes from now. Axe going in middle lane. Ball doesn't hit. I don't think it did. There's that global science. Ice Blast coming through as well. May connect on, yeah, it's going to connect to both of them, but with the call missing, didn't really matter. That was one of those calls where he wanted all three, and he ends up getting none. Tried so hard to get them. He did get Tiny, but actually, I don't even know if he called Tiny. He does the Battle Hunger up, and Tiny just runs away.
Radiant's
That's
top
an ace string.
tower is under attack. Dire are scanning.
Mask of Madness almost finished on Drow Ranger. Tiny's still working on the Blink, 1,600 gold saved up.
Dire's middle tower
Kunkka's
is
going to go the
under
Armlet
attack.
build. All right, wants to be a damage threat. I don't know about that. They already have a Chaos Knight who actually is also going the Armlet build. He's going to be the heavy physical damage dealer. I almost think more of a utility Kunkka would make sense here. What I mean by that, things like even like a Heaven's Halberd wouldn't be bad. You know, drums. Well, drums not the most popular right now, I suppose. We'll see where he goes from this, but if he just goes, I mean, there's nothing wrong with going that, you know, Shadow Blade Chrysalis build by any means. I think it still could definitely work, but it might be lacking on the utility, especially if he does go for that. It's Ancient Apparition. He is going the Urn. But I expect him to possibly even get an Axe later on, and Silencer. I believe Silencer is playing more. I guess actually Ancient Apparition is with the wards in his inventory. So I suppose
Radiant's
Silencer,
bottom
Glimmer
tower
Cape queued
is
up.
under attack.
Looks like a Forest Staff, etc. Tiny. Should be a kill. Ice Blast connecting. Cold Feet gonna proc. So yeah, they get the kill indeed. Kunkka, double damage. Rini's running away over here. Who do they catch? That would be the Chaos Knight? Yeah, or maybe the Chaos Knight catching them, I suppose. Global Silence coming out on top of that. He pulls in the Morphling with the Reality Rift, and a couple of crits to follow to take him out. Rasta wards are put down, but already 3 kills. Let's make it a 4th one. That was a very chaotic fight. Several different locations, but all favoring the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Or the University of Madison, Wisconsin. I'm trying to say that right. University of Wisconsin-Madison. I think that's what it technically is. Point is, they win that fight pretty heavily, and
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
yeah, you see Morphling, he has changed his mind on the Ethereal Blade. I was going to say that the Manta style did seem really important in this game. And in fact, he not only is going to Manta, but now the BKB on top of that, which I definitely agree with, too. Both are going to be very useful this game. So, yeah, the shotgun, it was a very ambitious idea. But he is backing off on that. I will say the double armlet between Chaos Knight and Kunkka definitely allows this Radiant team to be very aggressive and looking to fight. I think also Kunkka going to Shadow Blade. Speaking of that, I think the Shadow Blade would make a lot of sense too. Getting in there, having that vision for the Axe to eventually follow up as well makes more space for your Chaos Knight. Smoke play. They're deep in here. Ancient Apparition going to be the one exposed. He dies very quickly. Don't know if they're going to be able to catch the CK, though. Avalanche doesn't connect, and he will just walk away. Guessing he's going in Echo Saber. Looks like he does have that queued up after his Hardy. I assume he's going to finish the Echo Saber first. Not going to go straight hard here, but I like that build.
Radiant's middle tower.
Maybe a blink. They do have Axe, but CK to stay on these heroes like catch the Drow earlier would be nice, although Silencer gets bursted down, but they go far for this. He buys back into a Global Science, and now the Ice Blast, it goes on through. It does not connect onto the Morphling, however. It might not matter. Yeah, just still too much damage. That Calling Blade dunk comes out, you can hear it, and they take out the Younger Magi as well. So again, Morphling going too deep. I love the buyback from Silencer into the Global Silence. Very liberal use of it. Makes a play. The call's going to catch Shadow Shaman as well. Another slam dunk coming. Double kill for the man we call Face. Who was he playing yesterday? This play, he was making some big plays yesterday as well. I forget what hero he was on, though, to be honest. Either way, he definitely seems like a star player for this team. In this case, playing the Axe. Ogre Magi. Not caught by the call.
My waters rise. What hungers you?
No, so what it is because you're spectating me, which is a 2-minute delay because it's on Dota TV, and then there's 3 more minutes plus on top of the actual delay for YouTube. So that's why you think it's only 3 minutes, by the way. It is actually, it's 100% 5 minutes, trust me. Anyways, Ice Blast going through. It's, again, I think it's going to barely miss, but it still might not matter. Global Silence itself doing work, and as farmed as this Morphling was early on, still no Manta style. And that is no doubt a huge issue. And he can't get around until he has the item. Drow Ranger, we'll say her farm is very impressive. And she is leveling quite a bit, so that is still the good news for the Dare team, but even Ogre Magi is going to be picked off. And now the spot in Tier 1 tower. Also going to be dropped.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Shadow Shaman. He'll just TP away as he's split pushing that top tower. I believe he got the Tier 2 top, so well played by him. But Tier 2 bottom.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Kunkka throwing out the ship. Trying to get away. Does connect on Ogre. Morphling's in, though. However, again, Morphling has to be a little careful. Okay, Chaos Knight thought about going in, but now Chaos Knight's in trouble. Trying to stop him. It's going to get himself killed. Not necessarily what you want. Nice armlet toggles, but it's only going to be for so long. And he's staying dead for now. The Blink Dagger on Shadow Shaman as well. This is why Shadow Shaman's actually a really good support right now, too. The idea that he could just split push so effectively by himself every single ward cooldown, especially having a Blink Dagger. Get in there, put the wards down, blink out. Constantly bring attention to him. You see Morphling really still trying to finish that Manta style. Almost there. Drow, her inventory is really good, though. QM has been a farming machine, man. Drow's not necessarily a hero that's known for rapid farming, but credit to him, he's done a hell of a job so far. And again, thinking about Kunkka, who actually goes a Blink Dagger. Okay, so that's going to be his direction rather than the Shadow Blade. Still the same idea. So they needed that item to allow him to kind of sneak in. I still almost would rather prefer the Shadow Blade to really sneak up to the Drow Ranger, maybe even the Morphling, but And of course, there is that synergy coming out with the eventual Chrysalis if he builds that, etc. But either way, it's still a good tool. It's Chaos Knight, the Echo Saber finished, and now has the Heart queued up. Which is quite the boost for this hero. He doesn't have time for this. Yeah, I think Ancient Apparition said something about he's playing from work. Sometimes work calls, or sometimes a Dota tournament calls, I suppose. Ern's finished on the A, though, and is going to go the Yules next. Thinking, I mean, Spirit Vessel, very good against Morphling. But they already have the Ice Blast from Ancient Apparition. I assume that's one of the big reasons they picked up the hero, to help get those Morphling kills. So I don't know if he needs to go a full Spirit Vessel. Blade Mail for Axe is coming. Or he has it, excuse me. Looking a bit of Crimson Guard, which against Drow lineups, very good item. Like to see that.
Thanks.
Ancient Apparition. Up here, sneaking in the trees. TPing from Tiny. I don't know. Chaos Knight's going pretty deep for this. They're going to get the tower kill.
Bottom tower has fallen.
Yeah, top lane, Shadow Shaman trying to push it in. Silencer using that Glimmer Cape. Hoping to get on top. And the Ice Blast is not going to hit. Just barely missing. However, the Ice Vortex connecting. The Cold Feet taking off. There's the Curse. I mean, they're going to kill this Frost, I'm sure. Oh, he didn't stun in time. Yep, Reality Rift doesn't stop the TP. Had to hit the stun. Fortunately, did not connect, so Rasta actually did make it out. Well played by Snow. He was Storm Spear. That's correct. Thank you. Thank you for the heads up in chat there. Yeah, his Storm Spear just went off. So that's kind of interesting. He was the mid-storm yesterday, now he's the off-lane Axe today.
Waters rise. Coin for me.
Drow's got a full Hurricane Pike now. Great item for this game especially. Keep her distance.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower.
He's going to use the Phantasm Army to beat down the top tier 1.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Conka does get the Chrysalis, so yeah, he is going that build, so.
Dire's
teach their
top
own.
tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is
Try not
under
to be
attack.
overcritical. Obviously, I'm not the best player myself here, but you like to try to make logic, though, whenever I make a point. I think the whole Shadowblade
Radiant's middle
synergy
tower has fallen.
with the Chrysalis
Dire's
especially is
top
very
tower
good,
is
so
under attack.
let's see that, then the Blink Dagger. But enough's enough. Drow, though, you just see, man, how farm this Drow is. Level 18, so level 3 marksmanship. Has the Bloodlust buff on top of that. She just destroyed that tower. And that's the last outer tower, right? Yeah, that's the last outer tower remaining going down there. So, University of Wisconsin-Madison, all they have is their actual base now. And you lose one team fight, that base can get wrecked very quickly with Drow strategy. Morphling, of course, has the Manta now. Is working on the BKB next, but the Manta alone Must feel good to have. Chaos Knight choosing to get a Yasha first. Okay, it looks like he might go a full Manta himself. There is the Gust on the other side that no doubt is annoying too. So speaking of needing to take something off, I'm sure that's up there on the list of why he's getting it. Okay, Ancient Apparition is going to prioritize the Spirit Vessel, looks like, and nothing wrong with that either. I think that's actually good too. It's having another tool to deal with Morphling, and Spirit Vessel is just such a good upgrade as well, as they catch with double multicast on Ogre Magi. The Gust as well, but not going to be able to follow it up. Axie missed the call, and a good Hurricane Pike away from Drow to make sure C stays alive as well. So Axe has just had a hard time hitting these key calls that he needs to hit. Rasta, blink! I was looking at the blink dagger. It had a second cooldown as Chaos Knight was engaging, so it like literally just came off cooldown. That was some quick reactions from Snow there. Well played. Again, if I'm not mistaken, they kept calling her a girl, so I'm going to refer to her as she. Point is, she's playing very well. Very impressed with the support Shadow Shaman play this game. And the pressure that she keeps applying. X. Catches Tiny. Silencer. Global Silence. They better get at least this kill. They're using everything. Okay, they're at least going to get this kill. So they get the Tiny, but they really threw everything at Tiny. Global Silence, Ice Blast. All 5 players. Roshan, of course, hasn't been done yet. Approaching almost 30 minutes. Then the Drow strat, they can definitely take it on the Dire side especially. Radiant not as strong of a Roshan team. So Morphling, we're seeing a lot of this happen in this game. They queue up one thing and then they kind of just go another item. But is going to insist on going for the Eye of Scotty now at first instead. I guess it's the lack of fighting. Perhaps one of the reasons why he feels that way. Just might as well get an item that's going to help me in the long run too, as well as even enhance my farm a little bit. Look at Rasta. This is 5 heroes up here once again, trying to hunt. Doing it without a smoke, though. I don't know if it got exposed or what. Maybe it did. Drow's going to have an Ags almost finished too, though. Jeez. Angie just hit level 20, so that plus 20 marksmanship agility.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Look at that right-click damage, man.
Dire's structures are fortified.
And when she gets level 25 as well, this hero is pretty absurd with that 50% cooldown reduction.
Invisibility.
Dire are scanning.
Drow finishes the axe. You see Rasta, this main support, just pushing bottom lane, and may end up dying for this. But you know what? This team's doing Roshan in the meantime.
Roshan has fallen.
Got some damage on the tier 3 tower. I think it's one of those good deaths. Bought plenty of time. I'm guessing they gave it to... Okay, they gave it to I was going to say Drow first, actually, but they do give it to Morphling. But the way this game's been going, I guess it does make sense to put him on Morphling because he has died several times already. Wow, as I say, that Drow's 0-5 and 7, really. I gotta think those deaths are really from the beginning of the game, though. It's been a while since she's died, it feels like. Oh, they're going in, though. Silencer's not here. Of course, he still has Global Silence. Ogre is caught, though. Thought he was being sneaky, hiding up there. The blink in from the Chaos Knight. There's the combo, though, with the Gust on top of the Avalanche. Global Silence does come out in response, but Chaos Knight, he cannot cast the Phantasm. He doesn't have his Manta Style yet. Axe also goes down. Buyback coming out from the Ogre as Drow was picked off in the back lines. believe Kunkka maybe helping to make sure to get that kill, but it's going to come at a cost. Triple kill for the Morphling. Drow staying dead, but they don't need Drow for the time being. They take out the Ancient Apparition as well. And Silencer, well, he was far back that whole time. All he could do was Global Silence and not much else. So they used a lot to kill the Drow Ranger, but that was a hell of a combo, though, from Tiny. And the Gust Silence on top of that, like I said. Very beautiful. Gonna have to use buybacks for Madison, Wisconsin. They catch Morphling somewhat. Ice Blast going through. It did not connect, though. And Morphling is going to be fine. That I have Scotty in hand. An Arcane Rune for Shadow Shaman. Nice.
Thanks a lot.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Syracuse University feels like they're in quite the control this game. 63-37 according to the win probability for Dota Plus. I'd believe it. So it's not a very good place to be in, but feeling pretty good. I still think the Chaos Knight's always a bit concerning, especially if he manages to get that heart eventually. But again, he's still working on the man style. Anyways, Axe goes in. That's actually Axe from Morphling going in. Gets pulled back till the ship is out, and Morphling does die with the Aegis. Rasta, he got his horse down before he died. But now Morphling's back up with that with the Aegis Resurrection, that is. Chaos Knight trying to run away. Some kind of invis on him. The call it missed because of the Reality Rift, but it doesn't matter. Chaos Knight doesn't have fallen, but Drought is from the down ground. He is just beating into the Radiant team with the auto attacks. Ancient Apparition is going to end up falling as well. And now Tiny goes back in himself. Chaos Knight buys back though. CK doesn't have his Phantasm anymore. Rod of Atos hitting Drow, but just so deep. He's going to go for Drow. You're going to need some big crits there, boy. MW wants those big crits. The Gust back, but the call hits from Axe, and that is going to be a kill on the Drow Ranger when it's all said and done. So good hold from the Radiant team in the end, at least. Holding Blade to smack down Tiny. And by hold, I suppose not really, because technically they did lose their racks at the top lane. In the bottom lane, the tower is taking some good damage. But getting the kill on pretty much every hero. Cleaning them up. That's Drow Ranger. Queues up the BKB next.
Fortune's change.
Morphling still working on his.
Dire's middle tower.
Probably want to finish that before they push again. Look at Snow, though. She's got the Axe finished.
Dire's middle tower.
And she's heading towards that bottom lane, so it's only level 2 war. It's not level 3, but still. She needs to, I was going to say, she just has to commit, but now with the creep wave being here, she's going to be pinged out and not able to get in there and throw down the wards. There was no fortification, so. I suppose not the creeper, though, actually. Yeah, it wouldn't work with it.
Back so soon?
Yeah, the full Daedalus. Does have that Heaven's Halberd queued up now. I mentioned that from the beginning of the game. Especially now with how the Drow's looking, hitting really hard. Definitely getting that Halberd to not only have evasion yourself, but of course disarmor. Even with the BKB, it won't matter. Thank God they changed that. No longer removes it. Tiny. Oh, he really whiffed right there. Reality Rift with the Phantasm RB on to draw the backlines. Global Silence on top of that. Draws in trouble. She Hurricane Pikes away, but she goes down. Missing that initiation. Definitely costing them quite a bit. Ogres did as well. MW just going off here with that army of his. The Cleave of the Tree is only going to do so much damage. He falls. And Rasta just kind of runs in late. A triple kill for MW. on the Chaos Knight. Oh, boy. They're going to clean up the Rasta wards. Kunkka's going to TP back with the X, healing up a bit. That army, though, got the perfect target in Drow, and on top of all of that, Morphling was not there. He was busy farming elsewhere. Just happened so quickly.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So, Madison,
Dire's
Wisconsin,
structures are fortified.
they're now pushing into the Radiant, or the Dire base, that is. Drow does have a buyback, as does Rasta. Without their Initiator Tiny, yeah, probably. Oh, are they going for tier 4? No. They're trying to finish this right here, right now. I don't know about this. They're going to try to go for tier 4. They get one tier 4, it looks like, at least. Morphling, Bloodlust comes up. Ogre's up as well. Still 30 seconds for Tiny. There's the jump, though, onto the Rasta. They do pick him off the bat. The Ice Blast hits driving into the back lane. The boat also not going to connect, though. The call taking out Ogre Magi. Wait. Morphling, he's stuck with that Berserker's Call, and he's going to end up being cut down by the Culling Blade, so it's just all of a sudden, and look at that, it is going to work now. Axe Flies back well, everyone's still up. Morphling is like, I'm done. Drow Ranger, the only one alive, may end up killing MW. Looks like he will, but he's going to end up falling because of it, likely. Yes, he goes down, and the Ancient is falling, so the commitment by the University of Madison, Wisconsin is going to pay off in the end. It looks like Tiny just standing there. I believe it's safe to say they have just simply given up. No GG's even called. How about that? I'm sure frustrated, but come on now. The sportsmanship still at play here. Either way, well played by Madison, Wisconsin. The University of, or Syracuse University coming up just short, unfortunately. That's a game that they were ahead by quite a bit. They look at that. Look at that graph, especially with the win probability. Just yoink, goes completely the other way. That commitment to go for the tier 4s, it was a bold decision. I really was not sure if that was going to work out, honestly. But again, not having Tiny, I think, was the biggest thing, and why it ended up working out in the end. So congratulations once again to them as Madison, Wisconsin. They have 2 wins now. They won their game yesterday as well, so off to a solid start here. What is the group stages? Well, with that said, we are going to be wrapping up for now. We do have a match coming on later on tonight, about 2 hours from now. Looking forward to that one as well here for the Rush Gaming Collegiate Tournament. But wrapping up this one, I'm BreakyCPK once again. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.